Throwers are awesome. You know throwers, the flashlights that throw the light really far so you can see objects at a mile, 2 miles away. But here's the conundrum. To get a flashlight to throw really far, usually it has to be really huge. So they're not pocketable. Well, today we're going to be talking about the Olight Javelot, which solves that issue. Welcome back to Shoelights. So yeah, today we got this Javelot. Let me go to the camera here for the box. This is the box for it. Now, the Javelot is an old name, but this is a new product. So there was a really, really big one, a really long one. And then if you might remember, there was one a little while ago called the Javelot Mini. I'll show you that right now. Here's the Javelot Mini. So do not confuse it with this guy right here, the Mini. It's a larger version than this, but not much larger. And that's what I love about it, is the fact that it's compact, and yet it has so much candela and so much throw. So let's dive in and take a look at it. First off, we're gonna start with the box, and the box is one of the nicer Olight boxes with the magnetic flap on the side here, like that. And when you open it up, you get this entry page here. This is where it sits. You got accessories down here, including a clip and an MCC charger. And if you pull this all out like this, there is a really nice manual in here. Let me pop it out. And when I say really nice, I mean it's got illustrations on how to do everything. It's got run times. It's got specs galore. You can see right there is some run times, and it's got all the CCTs and you know, the CRI and all that kind of stuff. So let's get to the flashlight though, because I don't like to get bogged down in specs, right? The question is this flashlight awesome? Is it going to impress me? Is it something new? And the fact of the matter is that with this Javelot, I think that they've taken the Javelot Mini that they had released previously. This is the Mini, and it's tiny. And what was cool about the Javelot Mini is it had this new emitter in it. There it is. Let's get really close on it, actually. There we go. And that emitter is got a round die. You can see that little yellow round spot in the middle there. Now, what was awesome about that round die is you got a perfectly round hotspot. You know, different than we get with other emitters. So let me go ahead and show you that right now. So you can see, turn it on, perfectly round. So it has a great look and a lot of candela and throw. Now, the thing that was interesting about the Mini, because it was small and it was tail switch only, the thing that was interesting was it used a kind of, I wouldn't say non-standard, but let's say not a widely used battery size. It used an 18500, not 18650, but 18500. So most throwers are 18650s or 21700s or even higher, like 26650s. This guy is a little tiny 500. So you get about 2000 milliamp hour, and that's not bad because this is a really efficient driver, but it was just kind of like, it seemed like an odd choice, if that makes sense. So here comes the new Javelot, right? So not Javelot Mini, Javelot, that's a new name. And if you look at it, it's got the same size bezel. It's got the same emitter from what I can tell with my eyes. So it's all pretty much the same dimensions. And then the only difference is that the tube is longer. And the reason why is because they have not just an 18650, they have a 21700 in here. And so it's 5,000 milliamp hours as opposed to 2,000, so a lot more runtime. Additionally, the length allows for them to add not just the tactical switch on the back, but the new side switch to this line. And the side switch is excellent because it has battery readout. It's got the ability to go different levels that you can't do on the tail switch, as well as strobe and things like that. So why don't we take a look at the fit and finish of the light for just a moment, and then we'll jump into the battery and the UI. So it's a great light. It's just really awesome. It looks like I have a little dust right there, so let me wipe it. There we go, it's better, a little less dust. And you can see that that emitter is just something special, that round emitter die. They've been using this lately in their throwers, and it just makes such a concentrated beam. This OD green, this color is phenomenal. You get the new metal switch here, and it's got a little, you know, light indicator behind it. And on the back, you've got an MCC charger, which is also a, you know, 2-step tail switch. This comes off like this, okay, and inside reveals the 21700 5000 milliamp hour battery. It's Olight's proprietary battery. I tried to put other 21700s in here and I didn't have any luck. I'm not saying you couldn't, but I tried button tops and things. So I think you're pretty much gonna have to stay with their battery. But of course it comes with the light and it's a great sell. So, you know, at the price point this is at, this light is not expensive. This light is $79.99 during the St. Patrick's Day sale, and I got a link in the description if you want to get to it. It's an affiliate link, helps us out if you want to click on it. But it's a great price, and it is just, I mean, I don't want to overstate this, but, you know, if I'm looking at my throwers, and I have a lot of throwers, I think I'm going to grab it. You know, it's just got such a great size. Here, let's take a look at this really quickly here. So over here, here's some of my flashlights, and you can see that down here on the bottom level, those are just all like, you know, 21700, 18650 style throwers. And then up here, right there, you see you got some monster throwers like Giggles and stuff like that. So I know throwers, and in fact, you know, later in the video when we do beam shots, we're going to compare the Javelot to the Mini as well as the Olight X4, the Warrior X4 that is, because I think that it's good to kind of know what it looks like compared to these beams. This one is an SFT40. SFT40 is a phenomenal emitter. That's like the best thrower emitter right now. So let's see how it does against that, right? Okay, so we talked about the battery. Let's talk about the UI for a little bit here. So the UI is a pleasure, a joy to use. So it's got two switches. It's got a tail switch on the back and a side switch. Now the tail switch offers less functionality, but it's more direct, okay? So a half press turns it on to kind of a medium low, and if you half press again, it goes off. If you do a hard, like long full press, but you know, not holding it long, but just push really hard, you get it to turbo and it stays on. Now, what's really great about the switch is it's both momentary and on, depending on how you click it. So notice that when I pressed hard and let go, it stayed on. Well, if I press hard and hold, now it's momentary, meaning the moment I let up, it turns off. And that's what I love about Olight's rear tail switches, that kind of momentary, if you want to hold it, or if you just tap it, it stays on. Now, this mode has something that the Javelot Mini doesn't have, which is the side switch. And the side switch is going to do a couple things. For one thing, if you turn it on, you see it's green right now, so it's got a status indicator. It'll be green for fully charged up to 60%. Then it goes orange for that middle range. It goes to red when you're like at 15% battery. And then it goes to flashing red when you're in the last 5%. So that's really awesome because green means you're good to go. Orange, keep on using it. By the time it gets to red, oh, okay, I should charge it. When it's flashing red, that's it. Now, the switch also lets you get to more modes. For example, if you press and hold from off, you can get to a new moonlight mode, which I can barely even see on camera. You can see the reflection off my fingernail there, but that's an awesome addition. Now, if I press and hold, it'll go to now low, press and hold again, medium, and high. Now, if I press and hold, it's going to rotate between low, medium, high. Let's take a look at that. Low, medium, high, low, medium, high. So to get to moonlight, you have to be off and you press and hold, it goes to moonlight. Now, there's another hidden mode, which is turbo. So let's go back to it, turn it on. I'm at high right now, which is about 600 lumens. If I double click, boom, 1300 lumens. Doesn't look a lot different on camera, but for throw and for distance, you notice it. So, and you know, you want to use turbo sparingly because it just murders the battery. But, you know, that's why I like that the high is about 600 lumens. That's perfect for a thrower. I also want to point out that you can configure the tail switch to have a tactical strobe if you want. The instructions are in the manual. I don't like strobes in my main groups, so I'm fine with it not being there. But strobe is always available from the side switch too as a triple click. So if I go 1, 2, 3, you go to strobe. So cool, it's there. There's also a lockout, so you can lock it out, meaning not a mechanical lockout by putting insulating disc or something in here or removing the battery. You can lock it out when it's off by pressing and holding, and notice that when I press and hold, it's gonna go onto Moonlight first, and you keep holding. When it goes off, now the side is red, indicating that's locked out. So now if I push the side, it'll just flash red saying it's locked out. And then to unlock it, you press and hold. It goes back to Moonlight, and now it operates as normal, okay? So now we got the normal operation of the light. Okay, let's take a look at the Seconic report and some lumens, and then let's go outside and see it in action. Now, this is a thrower, so please take Seconic reports, you know, with a grain of salt here. I mean, this is a thrower. It doesn't need, you know, good tint. It's going to be, now I'm going to leave my video lights on, so it's going to be a little bit spoiled here. But let's, you know, go ahead and turn this on and get like a low reading here. And you can see that it's well above BBL and it's low CRI. Let's go ahead and do a turbo rating and back it up. It should cool off. Let me get as far as my arm can reach. It cooled off a bit. Still a bit above BBL there, 100. I mean, if this was an EDC light, I'd say the tint is no bueno. But for thrower, in fact, I have dedicated Osram W2 green emitters because green is the most receptive wavelength for your eye, so you're going to see better with it. So full color, not green only, but you know, leaning that way with the tint. All right, let's take a look at the lumens. Now I found that in my testing with my sphere here, and notice that I've got a huge gap. Notice this huge gap around here, so I'm going to have some light leak. But notice that on turbo here, well, let's go to high first. Okay, so one more. There's high. You can see I'm already reading almost 600 lumens. And then when I go to turbo, you see I hit about almost 1300 lumens, and that's with this light leak. So again, you can believe what Olight's you know, specking out in the manual. So this is a 1350 lumen thrower with that great round die. But what's more impressive to me, and why I would even go to this shot and show you, is that you know, we got the moonlight is like not even readable. Okay, so the moonlight's on right now, and you can see I'm cupping this to not let video light in, and you can see that it's 0. Now, if I go up a mode, then this is the low, and the low is like 15 lumens. Then you got the medium. Medium's like 135, 140 lumens. And then you got the high at about 600 lumens. And then you got the turbo, right? So excellent readings off my integrating sphere. Let's take a look at the beam shots outside.
Okay, we're out for some beam shots, and we're going to take a look at the new Olight Javelot, and this is the one with the round die. It's a great little tiny concentrated thrower, and we're going to pit it against the Javelot Mini, which is about the same size reflector, really, if you take a look at it, and it's the same round die. But the difference is that it's got a shorter tube, it's a smaller overall light, but you know what? For the larger 21700, because this is an 18500, not even 18650, and the fact that you get a side switch and the tail switch, I think this is probably a better option. I really am excited about this light because it takes all the things I liked about this light and kind of improves them. And then lastly, we're going to pit it against Olight's bigger brother, the Warrior X4, which is an SFT 40 thrower. This is a phenomenal thrower as well, but it is bulkier and larger than the other lights, and it's tail switch only, so it's more tactical, whereas this one has side switch and tail switch. So let's go ahead and take a look at these now. Now, the first thing I want to point out about the two Javelots, the Mini and the new Javelot, is that the Mini, even though it's got a similar die, see, they got the same round die, it's not as concentrated. So I want to repeat for viewers that don't know, that this is 20 meters, this tree right here. Not this black tree, but this tree over here is 55 meters. And the palm trees way in the back are 150 meters. So 20, 55, 150. So let's take a look first with the Mini, and we'll go straight to turbo, and you can see how concentrated and round that beam is. It looks great. And then here's 55 meters, and there's the palm trees in the back, and it's clearly making that. Really great thrower, great showing by this Javelot Mini. But now let's take the same emitter and stick it in a more concentrated thrower. Now I'm going to use a side switch so I can get more modes here. So I'm going to go, let's see here, let's go to low, medium, high. Now high is not the highest it goes. So this is high, which is not the same as the turbo we just had on this light. Now let's go to turbo, and you can see it's even brighter and more concentrated. You can see that it throws much better. See at the 150 meter mark on the palm trees in the back, much better than the little Javelot Mini. Now, it's not a fair comparison. The new Javelot is a much more powerful light than this Mini. So the Mini I would only get if you cared about, you know, the length of the tube, but remember the bezel and the head is about the same. So now let's take a look at the Warrior X4 versus the Javelot here. And you're gonna see the SFT40 really does kind of hold its own. So let's start with the, okay, we're straight to turbo here. You can see it's a wider beam, kind of illuminates that whole tree. Let's go to the 55 meter mark. And now let's go in the back to the palm trees in the back. Now, here's where it's gonna get interesting. I'm gonna run the Javelot in my left hand on turbo against this, and they're gonna look very similar, but the Javelot has more candela, so it's gonna be more focused, and it will actually be brighter in the hot spot. So this is about 1300 lumens. The X4 is more lumens, but the thing is it's not as, you know, concentrated. So let's take a look. So let's turn on the X4, oops, there we go, Warrior X4, and straight to turbo. Here we go. Let's go to the back here. So you can see the palm trees in the back there, and there is the Javelot. And you can tell, well, at least I can tell with my eye, hopefully you can tell on camera, that the Javelot is more concentrated and brighter than the Warrior X4. Let's take a look at this 55 meter tree here. Let's take a look at their beams on the street. Maybe we can see these in the overhead view. Let's try that again. Let me turn this one off for a second. This is the Warrior X4 beam. You can see it illuminates all four of those palm trees. So it's kind of a wider beam. Now let's turn it off and let's go with the Javelot. And you can see that it does 3 of the 4 trees. So it's definitely a more concentrated beam, and it's more defined. Here, let's take a look down at the bottom here on the pavement in front of us. I'm going to go to a medium on the X4, and let's go to a medium on the Javelot. And you can see that the X4 has a kind of a more ill-defined hot spot and then a lot of spill. The Javelot has this very sharp hot spot, little bit of corona, and then less spill. So I guess the point here is if you want like the most resource, the most lumens you can get, or actually candela in this case, in a small package, the new Javelot's really impressing me. This is the one I would pick out of these 3.
All right, my conclusion is that this Javelot improves over the Javelot Mini in all ways. I mean, so the Javelot Mini, I suppose, is a little bit shorter, but I mean, you get over double the battery life. You get the side switch, you get more functionality, more candela, and more lumens. So it's a no-brainer. So for me, this is the new king of the Javelot line. Then, you know, if I take a look at something like the Warrior X4, which I love, I think it's a great light. But, you know, the X4 just kind of fills a different role in my heart, meaning that it is considerably heavier. It's just definitely chonk. Again, it's not the kind of thing that you can tell unless you put it in your hands, but this one feels svelte and lightweight, and I would not mind putting this in my pocket. This thing, I'm gonna know about it. These fins are really thick, really heavy, and they add a lot of weight. So, I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, between the two, if I could only keep one, I would keep the Javelot, okay? You know, the more concentrated throw, yeah, there's more lumens here, but it spreads it out more anyway, so you're going to get more lumens where you're aiming it at distance. So this is the winner. Also, something I didn't really talk too much about is the holsters, and I really prefer the Javelot style holster, which just slides in like this, like that, and then you just pull it out and slide it in. I prefer that because with the X4, you got to do this dance where you got to kind of put in the tip first and then click it back. Now, it doesn't seem so bad, except when this is on my my belt and I got to pull it, I will pull and pull and pull, and it does not want to come off. It's like, and then it comes off. I find it's just too difficult. I find this a much easier affair. And, you know, Olight's really smart about how they do this stuff, and notice that you can charge inside the holster. So that's awesome. You can leave it all together, charge right there with the MCC. All right. Link in the description if you want to go to the Javelot on the sale, 79 bucks. I give it a thumbs up. Great light. And I'll see you in the next review, guys. Peace.